So good morning, everyone. We are live again this Saturday morning, the 5th of, the 5th of July. Listen, guys, I'll hold my hands up when I'm wrong. I will. I'll hold my hands up when I'm wrong, and I'll come out with it, and I'll say it. I was wrong, but I was so right, and things are actually worse than I predicted. So months and months and months ago, last year, I was predicting the summer of carnage coming this year. Now, that's an inevitability, guys, okay? I said I believe we're going to see the first skirmishes in Cardiff on the 4th of July. Look, guys, let's wait till the weekend's over first. But, I did say the 4th of July, and we didn't see those skirmishes that I envisaged we would see. Yes, there was some violence on the streets. Yes, there was like a ridiculous amount of security. But guys, look, right now, I don't believe that mass of people, that amount of people and the demographic. Like, did you guys see the crowd? So for those guys who don't know what we're talking about, in the United Kingdom last night, it was the first tour. It was the first tour day of the Oasis concert. Now, if you don't know who Oasis are, I'm not going to waste my time telling you guys because you should know. This was the first tour. And if you look at the images from the crowd in that Oasis tour, what do you notice about that crowd, guys? First of all, they look like they're having a great time. When you get this many people together, the inevitability that that's going to happen now, guys, obviously it didn't happen yesterday, whether it happens tomorrow, whether it happens in Manchester, doesn't matter, because what I said, yes, I was wrong, but guys, listen, I was so right about what's coming to the United Kingdom. We're going to talk about as well, I've got a little speech that, in fact, we'll play that straight after this. I've got a little speech that Keir Starmer dropped on his Twitter platform, on his X platform. Honestly, well, do you know what? Let's where is it gone? Let's watch it together, guys. Okay, let me find this. Let me find this together because it's absolutely hilarious. But you know what, guys? I will agree with Keir Starmer. Better days are coming to the United Kingdom. Now, when, that is a different story. Keir Starmer, hang on, guys, give me a second. No, I just posted that. I didn't want to post that. I wanted to search for that. Where's the search box? Right, so I'm going to play a little video now, guys, from Keir Starmer. It's absolutely hilarious, guys. So this was posted by Keir Starmer 15 hours ago.
Across Britain, people get up every morning to go to work, to get their kids to school. They pay their bills, try and save a bit. They go on. The factory workers, small business owners, teachers, carers, those who serve our country, whether that's in scrubs or the...
So we're listening to a speech now, guys, by Keir Starmer, and he's got his glasses on, so he's clearly reading. But look, guys, like, who has faith in a word? Look, let's listen to the speech, guys, and then we'll give commentary.
Uniform of their regiment. The ordinary people, men and women who make this country what it is. People like you and your family. And that's what I think of every time I face a decision.
Sorry. So Keir Starmer is saying every time he makes a decision, he thinks about people like you.
I know, like all of us, you are proud of our country. We all love our country. I also know that at times it doesn't feel like Britain is fair enough for those people, the people who are getting on with it. And that's what drives me forward.
This to me seems like just throwing people a carrot, giving people a carrot, to try and get people to just calm down. Don't worry, everybody, things will be fine. I'm going to sort it out. And then that's going to calm people down a little bit, You saw this with these, when they did the, go on. Country of Strangers. When he was talking about the Country of Strangers speech, it does echo that to me, where he's just trying to feed people and try and calm people down.
No more representing our interests abroad. I'm putting you first, making Britain fair for you again. building more affordable houses,
Who's going to go in those affordable houses?
fixing the NHS,
Why do we need it fixing?
securing our borders,
Securing our borders. Rubber dinghies, anyone?
giving your kids more opportunities.
Our kids more opportunities. Listen, if you're a young boy from a white working class background, your opportunities are drastically limited.
Cleaning up our streets,
That's like statistically, guys. That's the reality.
putting more money in your pocket.
Putting more money in your pocket whilst also killing jobs.
But most of all, giving people a sense that we're moving forward, so that the pride we all feel for our country grows into a confidence, a determination, a certainty that our very best days lie ahead.
So I will agree with Keir Starmer, guys. You know, the United Kingdom, the best days lay ahead. We're going through an absolute insanity at the moment, guys. We really are. It's absolutely bonkers. Right, I'm going to jump onto YouTube first, guys, and get these comments. Timsky saying, "Morning, mate. What did you mean by Treason Day?" So, guys, listen, I wasn't on the live stream last night. I had a group chat with the guys. We was on WhatsApp. We was on the video call. It was, it was Independence Day in America. So I was telling them all that it was Treason Day, and they should all heel to me. And then, some carbonated drinks got cracked, and then my friend was in Ukraine, and he's like, "Guys, listen, look, we are getting Shaheed attack." And then he's got his phone outside, and we're watching the Shaheeds go over. And then we could hear the machine gun fire from a location like around Kiev. So I didn't do the live stream last night because I was celebrating Independence Day with my American friends and my Ukrainian friends. But anyway, guys, yeah, so that's what I was talking about. When I say Treason Day, guys, I mean Independence Day for the Americans. Zoe Dean is saying, still convinced something is going to happen on the 7th in the UK. Yeah, so it's a 20-year anniversary of, it's the 20-year anniversary of the 7/7 bombings in London. Right, good morning everyone on TikTok. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen on TikTok. You guys are fantastic. Right, guys, listen, we're double streaming again today. Excuse me. As always, we try to double stream. Sometimes it's not always applicable, but when we do double stream, guys, that means that these videos are uploaded to YouTube as well. Right, lots of people joining, guys. Lots of people joining for the first time. Maybe, I don't know. Four Paws are saying good morning. Paul Poops is saying, morning, Sean. Hope you like the spitting image video. Yeah, so so Paul Poops sent me there's these videos going around, guys, and it's like the puppets. Listen, I don't know if it's AR or somebody's actually doing it with the puppets. I genuinely can't tell. But there's a lot of these puppets and stuff going around with Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer and Donald Trump, and it's just funny. Morning, Sean. Checking out animals while listening. Right, guys, listen. Let's talk about what's going to be happening in the United Kingdom now. When I give these long-term predictions and I say things are going to happen way in the future, I genuinely think now that the Western society, guys, Western culture, like, I think, honestly, I think we're going to have to, the way I see it right now, unless something drastic happens, I can genuinely see the Western culture migrating to Antarctica. And I know that sounds wild. It sounds wild, but, where is there to go that feels safe for Western culture now? I mean, you only have to look in the United Kingdom, and it seems like, there is absolutely nowhere to go. There's no safe haven. There's nowhere that you can go that you're not bombarded by wokery and just people forcing it down your throat. And you know what, guys? I've had enough forced down my throat. I don't want it anymore. I'm good. I would like to take my culture, and I don't think that's being controversial. I would like to take my culture. I would leave my house. I would leave everything behind. If we could go and start a new world in Antarctica, I would be like, right, leave my house, leave everything I've ever owned, everything I've ever worked for, leave it there, let me go and take my culture to Antarctica, and let's build a brave new world in Antarctica. Oh, but Sean, it's cold, it's devastating, it's horrible. Do you know what? Yes, I agree with all that. But with enough minds working on this, with enough people coming together, working for each other, working to support each other's culture, we could go down to Antarctica, take the minerals, take the resources, and build a brave new world in Antarctica. And do you know what we do? We say, no, we're having a zero migration policy to Antarctica. But you know what? After 100 years, it would slowly happen, and then Antarctica would go to a hole, and then people are going to go, right, where are we going to go now? And then we're like, right, okay, I guess we need to leave and go to the moon or something. And then we all go to the moon, and then everybody follows, oh, look at them up there. Look how privileged they are. Oh, they're all the evil ones. No, we're not the evil ones. We're the ones who just look after our own stuff. We put our rubbish in the bins, and we don't do to people things we wouldn't want done to ourselves. Guys, look, I've seen an overwhelming amount of videos now of people stealing things from in London. The crime, I mean, is London actually a place anymore? What is London, guys? What is love? What is London? I mean, listen, guys, London's London is the capital of the world for a few things, guys. It's for a few things, and those things that London is capital of the world for, they're not particularly good things, guys, all right? So, that is where we are in the United Kingdom. So what is the solution, guys? What is the solution? I was watching the news on the other day, and I was seeing Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage is now swizzling, guys. Nigel Farage is swizzling. He's saying he wouldn't ban halal meat. He's saying he wouldn't ban kosher meat. He's saying that he wouldn't do all these things that people are wanting him to do. Look, guys, I've said for many times, look, and guys, look, let me be clear, right? Let me be clear. I've met Nigel. I've met him. I'm not, I'm not in any WhatsApp groups with him or anything. I'm not best friends with him. I met him once. He came across as a very genuine guy. He came across as intelligent, articulate, and a good guy. Right, and a good guy, and so I'm not taking anything away from Nigel Farage. But if we think that we're gonna be voting for reform and they're gonna change something, guys, look, it's just not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. The system's rigged. Everything's rigged, and it's ridiculous. Right, let me jump and get some more comments. Debbie Doobs is saying morning everyone, and Tina Elliott is saying morning. Danny Boy is saying, well, when Nibiru comes, that changes the Earth, and the Antarctica will be in the Pacific. Yeah, you know what? It would probably, yeah. So Danny Boy, listen, guys, if you've just joined us there, I was talking the other day. We was talking last night on the not on the live stream, on the group chat, and I was saying, look, I genuinely think Antarctica is where we're all going to have to retreat to, because, if you look at some things like take the Notting Hill Carnival, for example. Look at the crime rate in the Notting Hill Carnival, guys. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, the crime in Notting Hill Carnival. And I will be all up for it, guys, all right? Let me know would you be up for it? Guys, listen, the crux of this video, would you leave everything behind and move to Antarctica to build a brave new world? Would you take you and your family to Antarctica, and with the sweat of your back, build a brave new world? Now, I would be well up for that, guys. I for one am in with that. And you know what, guys? I would say to people in the United Kingdom, I'd say, do you know what? You guys can pray 5 times a day. You can pray 10 times a day. You can have 365 days of the Notting Hill Carnival. You can take every town and city. You can you can express yourselves as much as you want. Just don't come to Antarctica, because we'd be the ones with all the hardware. We'd be the ones with all the resources, and we'd be the ones living in absolute harmony. That's what I think would happen, guys. Would we want to move to Antarctica, guys? Is that a thing that we want to do? Is that a thing we want to do? Escape the world and move to Antarctica. Debbie Doobs, so Debbie Doobs is saying, was it peaceful in Cardiff? It wasn't peaceful. There was a few scuffles broke out, but nothing on the scale that I expected. Look, guys, I was wrong about the, I was wrong about Cardiff, obviously. Months like last year, I said we're going to see a start. In fact, I think I owe someone £5. Last year, I said, look, we're going to see the first skirmishes on the 4th of July in Antarctica. Not in Antarctica, I didn't say that, did I? I was well wrong if I said that. In Cardiff. Let's give it till the end of this weekend, guys, and let's get to the end of the Oasis concert. I was wrong about my initial date, but I still think I'm right about the Oasis concert. The demographic that went there, guys, all you need to do is look at the crowd and see the type of people that went into that Oasis concert, the age, the background, the people that went there. We've got another concert tonight in Cardiff. So those people will be in Cardiff town centre today. They'll be getting oiled up. It may happen today. It may happen in Manchester. Remember, guys, 340,000 people in Manchester on the 11th. We have got the 20th anniversary of the 7/7 attacks on the United Kingdom, which was the first Islamist attack in the United Kingdom. So, we've got a lot of things coming to a crescendo this month, guys. Right, Paul Poops is saying, I don't think reform is our... Yeah, so listen, this is what a lot of people are talking about. Look, guys, I don't want to get overly political on this live stream, but yes, Paul Poops is saying, I don't think reform is our saviour, but what choice do we have? And, it does seem like Nigel Farage is there, and he's there to put in place so people think, oh, we're gonna vote for reform next year or next election, and that'll show the guys. And then what will that be? That will be 15 years. That will be 15. No, it won't. It will be 13, 14 years, depending on what change you're using. Since the next since we voted for Brexit. So 15 years after we voted for Brexit. Immigration's worse than it's ever been. We've got migrants now starting up restaurants from their hotels that we're paying for. We've got our own government outbidding us on our own property with our own taxes. We've got call centres allegedly now being made up in hotels. How are we winning, guys? Tell me how we're winning. Unless there's like a mass deportation, unless there's mass deportations, I genuinely don't see any other way. Look, Maritime Slave on YouTube is putting, no, Britain is ours, no retreat, no quarter given. Look, Maritime Slave, look, I share your sentiment, buddy, but when people are having like, but when people from other countries are having like 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 children, in comparison to native Brits who are having like 2.1 children, the numbers don't add up, guys. The numbers don't add up. Yes, I would love to say, and I share your sentiment, but so Maritime Slave here, I'm going to pin that again. So what does that actually mean, guys? All right. No, Britain is ours, no retreat, no quarter given. When the government, look, and I don't want to be negative, guys, all right? But when the government come and knock on your door, and they say, yeah, a new law's passed, we're moving everyone out because we need families in those houses. And you're like, I've lived here for all my life. Yeah, we've passed this new law now, and you're out. What? Or when your landlord knocks on your door and he says, yeah, I'm going to kick you out now. The government are offering me more money to put a migrant in. You're gone, and it's all well and good having this bravado, guys, but unless that is turned into action, I genuinely, I see everybody retreating to Antarctica. Tracy Doll is waving. Hello, Tracy Doll. She's waving and saying 100%. Danny Boy is saying, we can form a government, Sean. Do you know what? We can't. I don't want to form a government to this country, guys. It's like, what is a country if it's not the people? What is a country if it's not the people? What is a country if it's not a people, guys? I would be more than happy to move to Antarctica. Move to Antarctica, take some oil drilling well rigs with me, take some construction equipment, take some computers, take some hardware down there. You know, we'll start our own new world down there, guys. We'll start our own new world of Western culture living in Antarctica. And you know what? Maybe we'll even meet the aliens down there, and we'll be saying to the aliens, yeah, we've had to leave. They're wild over there. They're just savages. And they're like, yeah, we left you guys as well like a couple of thousand years ago. We've just been watching. And then over time, like, can you imagine it, guys? Listen, I'm just going down a little bit of conspiracy here. Let's go down conspiracy lane for a moment. You know how there's the crazy conspiracies that people, that an alien race have left Earth and they live on Antarctica. Remember how that conspiracy is there? Right now, I totally see that, guys. I totally see that. If your technology is sufficiently advanced, the cold in Antarctica doesn't really make any difference. And again, that's if it is cold down there. I've never been, but you can with unlimited energy, with free energy, with alternate energy sources, with potentially nuclear fission, you can, an unlimited clean energy source. You can live down there in absolute harmony. You can build big domes and have beaches, have pools, have seas. You can have a tropical environment down there. Dodsbra, I wouldn't move to Antarctica. Why should we be forced to move? I'd rather fight to remove them. Dodsbra, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know, guys. Listen, it's very difficult. People have this attitude, and how do I put this, guys? Like, I've seen my local town go from a thriving town, to closed, to empty shops now, market stalls that just sell Arabic clothes, people speaking Arabic, and the high street is now full of charity shops and banks and cash converters, and the banks are closing down. That's what I've seen in my lifetime, guys, okay? And I don't know, guys. I think the critical mass has reached. I am definitely not being defeatist here. I'm not being defeatist. What I'm saying is, wouldn't it be nice, guys, just to start afresh? Wouldn't it be nice to go to a new place? If like your house or your street has become overrun with people you don't like, wouldn't it be nice to move somewhere nice? And I'm saying, guys, at some point we're going to have to move to Antarctica. But Dodsbra is saying, I wouldn't move to Antarctica. Why should we be forced to move? I'd rather fight to remove other people. Sharon Owen is saying, good morning, Sharon Owen. Yeah, Debbie Doob. So listen, guys, we are going to get taxed. We are going to get taxed. Taxima Taxi is coming. What's her name? Rachel Reeves. So the other day, guys, was it? I think it was yesterday. Let me fact check myself, guys. Let me fact check myself. Rachel Reeves, right, so here we are, guys. So I'm just going to open this. So Rachel Reeves says she cannot rule out autumn tax rises. Look, is it me, or has there been a tax raise every opportunity? Every opportunity now that there's been to raise taxes, the government have taken it. But it's not just that they've taken the tax raise, it's that they're saying there's not going to be a tax raise. Remember when they said they weren't going to raise taxes when they first got in, and they were saying, we've been left with a 22 billion black hole. I mean, listen, I'm not going to comment about Rachel Reeves and her black hole, but I'm not convinced it's that deep. But what she said is there's a 22 billion black hole. That's what they came in and they said, once we raise taxes, we won't have to raise them again now. This is it. We've raised taxes. We've accounted for everything. Everything's going to be fine. And then literally, every opportunity to raise taxes, it's happened. It has, guys. It has. That's like That's factually correct. Now they're saying that there's going to be another tax raise. No, she's not saying there's going to be another tax raise. She's saying she's not ruling it out, which kind of means get ready because there is. Like, at what point can people keep paying taxes, guys? You know, and again, whether you think it's right or wrong, what's his name? Bob Villain. Honestly, guys, that guy triggers me more than anything. I mean, I'm not going to get onto him. I'm not going to get onto him, guys. But when we talk about taxes, like he's been brought up in, like, he's never, you know, he pretends he's ghetto, doesn't it? You know, he pretends he's like ghetto and he's a gangster and he's like, you know, he's from the underworld. I mean, I think his name's something like Pascal Foster Jones or something, or Robert Foster or something. Like, what kind of gangster's called Pascal Robert Foster? I don't know. Maybe they're all, hello, Pascal. Like Pascal Robert Foster. Like in my head, guys, if somebody said to me, Sean, draw me Pascal Robert Foster, I would draw a French Duke with a Jacobean ruff and a really long face. That's what I draw, guys. Anyway, right. So yeah, as Debbie Doobs is saying, it does look like tax hikes are coming. Listen, we went down some rabbit holes yesterday on the group chat. I'm just closing the what we was talking about, because listen, you guys think I'm in character now. I'm like this on the group chats with my friends, although my language is a little bit more choice. Right, let me jump over here. But yeah, it does look like there's more taxes coming, guys. How much more taxes can we take? Like, how much more tax can you take, ladies and gentlemen? It's absolutely bonkers at the moment, the amount of tax that we get in the United Kingdom. Right. Right, I will give this again, guys, okay? I'll talk about this again, what's coming, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the Middle East, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about the Middle East, because that situation in the Middle East, excuse me, I'm hearing non-confirmed reports. So let me be clear about this, guys. These are non-confirmed. I can't find this on mainstream media, so I don't know if it's true or not. And you'll understand what I mean. So in fact, you know what? Let me just Google it, actually. Let me just Google it. It may have changed. No, I can't find anything. Right, so I was going to Google it then and see if anything will come onto the mainstream, but I'm hearing non-confirmed reports, guys, okay, that the Israelis are still conducting airstrikes. Now, I need to be clear, I'm not sure if that's true. This is just social media chatter. I don't know if it's true, guys, but what we can understand from that Middle East conflict, guys, now is the Israelis and, well, I guess the Americans, by de facto the Israelis, the Americans and the Iranians are now they're at an impasse, guys. You know, they are at an impasse. So this is what's happening right now in the Middle East, guys. Okay. The Iranians are pledging to continue their the Iranians are pledging to continue their nuclear enrichment program. That's, so even after these airstrikes that the US put in, and again, look, guys, I just need to be clear. I'm not taking anything away from the US capability. What I'm saying is, what I said from the very first live stream we did about this when it happened. I've not seen any evidence of the. I've not seen any evidence of how successful those strikes have been. So that thing that they dropped, the GBU, I can't remember. I don't know what the designation is, but the bunker buster, basically, can it take out those facilities? Absolutely, 100%. It's capable. Will it? Can it? I don't know, guys. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. Anyway, So now we've got that impasse, guys, where the Iranians on one side are saying, no, publicly, we're going to continue to develop our nuclear weapons. And then the Americans have already passed in law that they won't let the Iranians get a nuclear weapon. That's there for everyone to see, guys, all right? So where do we go from that now? You know, the Americans are saying no, the Iranians are saying yes, and like at some point, something has to happen, guys. You know, I don't think we've seen the end to this conflict. I really don't. I still think things are going to be moving forwards. Oh, we've got Silly Gallardi on here from, she's in Israel, and she's saying it's true. It's true that the Israelis are continuing. Right, guys, and look, again, this is, again, like, can you find a link for that? Can you get a link? Is there a link to a media article or something? Because I have to be very careful about what I talk about, so I don't get the live streams banned. Right, let me jump over on TikTok and get some of these comments, guys. Daniel Payne is saying, I've removed myself from the media. Dodsbra is saying, you heard that ICE are flying migrants out to the sea and throwing them out of the plane. Do you know, right? Yeah, guys, I just don't see this. I don't see this. I mean, I've heard that rumor. I feel the probability of that happening is low. Yeah, I feel the probability of that is having, you know, I feel the probability of that is low, but I have seen the, you know, I have seen the videos. Daniel Payne saying, morning Raven, what's happening? I have removed myself from the media. Yeah, do you know what? It's not a bad thing, because mostly it's what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of it's mind control. Daniel Payne saying, also, you can stay on both platforms, and when you want to say something, mute yourself. Oh, how do I mute myself? I don't know how to mute myself. Linda Lou is saying, hi, Sean, didn't realize you were on. Yeah, guys, listen, I thought I'd jump on this morning. Excuse me. I thought I'd jump on this morning. Because last night I didn't do a live stream. I was on a group chat with my friends, some of our friends in America. We got some carbonated drinks out made with hops and, you know, some other ingredients. I was telling them Happy Treason Day, and as we was talking, one of the guys who's in Ukraine, a load of Shaheed drones started going over the top, and he's like, whoa, guys, look, there's Shaheed. So he ran outside with his phone, and he's like filming these Shaheeds going over, and then you could hear the machine gun fire going like da 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 da, and you could see like little bits of tracer going up. So we just stayed on the group chat, guys, last night. So I do apologize I wasn't with you, but it was International Treason Day, so I had to celebrate International Treason Day with my American friends. Right, hang on, let me jump over to YouTube a second, guys. Okay, let me jump over to YouTube. So, positive programming for mind, body, and spirit. Hello, positive programming for mind, body, and spirit is saying, when we know the plan in its entirety, we can see the new world order, digital control, AI takeover. David Icke was always right. It's hard not to see these digital takeovers, isn't it, guys? It really is hard to see this, like, digitalization. It's so hard not to see it. I mean, I think the Russians recently introduced their digital currency. You know, and then Wes Streeting, his new NHS app. You know, the NHS app now that's like having a doctor in your pocket. Oh, it's going to be so convenient for people because, you know, you're going to have a doctor in your pocket. You're just going to click the buttons on the app. You're going to click the buttons on the app, and then you're going to be able to go to the drugstore and get your drugs. You know, because the doctor on the app will have prescribed it. And yeah, it's so difficult not to see this like digital AI takeover. But listen, guys, I mean, so last night we was on the group chat, and do you know who else was on the group chat with us? Do you know who else was on the group chat with us? Good old Grok. Grok was fact checking us because I was going down conspiracy lane. I was talking about aliens, guys, you know, and all sorts of crazy stuff. And people were trying to tell me, they were saying, hey, Sean, you want to calm yourself down with your crazy conspiracies. I'm like, no, guys, honestly, British radar can be used as directed energy weapons, and it summons aliens. And but anyway, let me continue with YouTube. Sorry, guys, let me continue with YouTube. Maritime Slave is saying, years ago, I was in a band and played Goldthorpe Reform a couple of times, banging. Tim Linsky is saying, I was close to Sarajevo when they bombed there, devastating, but nothing like Gaza. Wow, yeah, I mean, like, what's happening in the Middle East now, guys, it is absolutely unbelievable. It can't be, I don't think what's happening in Gaza can be quantified as a war, guys. I really don't. And I do accept people are angry with this, and I do get it. People's emotions are high when we talk about Israel and Gaza. And it's not a but. And I know people are angry with this. What I think people don't understand is like what a war actually means. You know, people are like, oh yeah, let's have a war, because you see movies and you see like, you see a movie where like somebody will take a casualty and they get like a little shot in the arm and they're going, I can make it, I can make it. And then they get a little bandage on, and then a couple of minutes later, they're absolutely fine. That's not war, guys. That's not war. That is not war. And war on an industrial scale, it is what we're seeing, guys, all right? It's brutal, it's dark, it's not good, and people are chanting for this and people are cheering for this, and it's absolutely unbelievable. Look, what I will say is, if you're going to get yourselves into a war, you can't complain when you're in a war, all right? If you want to play big boys games, you get big boys rules. Like, I wouldn't for the life of me, right? Like, try and call out Tyson Fury and say, right, yeah, Tyson Fury, I'm gonna do this to you, Tyson Fury. Wait till I get you, Tyson Fury. I'm gonna do all this sort of stuff for you. I wouldn't do that and then expect when Tyson, we probably wouldn't even acknowledge me. And then when Tyson Fury does say, right, okay, Sean, I'll have a fight with you. And then when we get in a ring and he's like knocking me all over the place, I wouldn't say, oh, it's been unfair, oh, please help, no, please. Like, I wouldn't do that. I just, that's what you expect. If you're going to get in that ring and start that conflict, guys, you've got to accept what's coming, and as brutal as that is. Anyway, right, let me jump down. Daniel Payne is saying, I need to clear something up. If I shout free Palestine and hold the Palestine flag, are you a terrorist? Not in this country, Daniel Payne. But I think if you do that in Saudi Arabia, for example, yes, you would be. Yes, you would be in Saudi Arabia, but not in the United Kingdom. If you do that in the United Kingdom, I think you're given you get extra money or something. UK veterans are saying, Sean, Tyson Fury just rang and said it's on. Look, listen, it wouldn't surprise me if he kicked the door and I was like, oi, Raven, you big dosser. I'm like, no, Tyson, please don't. I'd have to try and jujitsu him or something, because like prime Tyson Fury is unstoppable. Timsky is saying, Sean, I was talking about my mate in South Africa. He's looking, hang on, what are we talking about here? Right, Timsky on YouTube is saying, Sean, I was talking with my mate in South Africa. He's looking to get out. It's bad there. Yeah, sorry, I misread your comment. So Timsky's got a friend in South Africa, and he's saying he wants to get out of South Africa as well because he's getting bad there. Everywhere's getting bad, guys. There's nowhere that Western culture, European Western culture, and by like the Anglosphere, there's nowhere where we can retreat to, guys. That we don't have a country to call our own. Like, where do we go? If things got that bad, where would we go? I'm proposing we all go down to Antarctica and start a brave new world. Nick GB on YouTube with Birmingham Football as his or her or his or her thumbnail is saying they have created a digital prison for us all. Yeah, it does feel like we've got that digital prison. You know, we're all slaves to those little numbers in our bank. Matt is saying, Raven, you still need to bag up your water before it turns green and it's undrinkable. Yes, it's not actually in direct sunlight, and it looks good at the back. But you are 100% right, Matt. I do need to get that bagged up. Maritime Slave is saying they've been doing something bad that I can't say on this platform, but you guys can read that on YouTube for 5,000 years. How can a low IQ do you have to keep a blood feud going for 5,000 years? Yeah, what he's talking about there is the troubles in the Middle East, guys. The troubles in the Middle East. It is bonkers what's happening in the Middle East right now. You know, it's absolutely unbelievable. It can't be. I don't think it can't be. It can't be quantified as a war. UK veterans are saying Oasis seems to have been fairly peaceful last night. Yeah. So guys, listen, I'll be big enough about it. I was wrong when I said that we would see the first pitched battles in Cardiff on the 4th of July. It does look like that's not happened, guys. It does look like that's not happened. But look, guys, I was wrong, but I was so right as well. Look at the demographic of the people that went to see the Oasis concert. I still think that we're going to see something go wrong at this Oasis concert, guys. You've got too many people there, too many people of a certain demographic, too many people there at the same time. And you know what, guys? If it doesn't go wrong, well, that would just be, you know, that would just be fine with me, guys. That would be fine with me. But I still believe the Summer of Carnage is coming. And I've always said, and I have always said that we will see it it will be in the main flow, the main, what's the word I'm looking for? It will reach its crescendo in the 6 weeks holidays. I've always said that, guys. You know, I've always said that. I've always said it's going to reach its crescendo in the 6 weeks holidays when, when the kids are off school, mums and dads are off work, financial troubles, the heat, people are going to the pub. You've got the wife and she's like, oh, we're taking the kids out. And then the guy goes out and he's with his mates and he's drinking beer and he comes in and he's hungover and he's spent all the money. She's nagging at him at the morning. He's like, oh God. And then something happens. He's out on the street protesting. He's thinking, oh, what have I got left to lose now? My missus has left me. My kids don't want to talk to me. I've got no money. I've just had the sack. I've got no prospect of a job and it's all their fault. Tell me that's not going to happen, guys. Tell me it's not going to happen. Right, let me jump on. Right, Debbie Doobs, yes. Right, Debbie Doobs, thank you for reminding me. April Lee saying, what have I missed? Didn't know you was on. Right, guys, I guess we're 44 minutes in now, and I've not asked you guys to do it. Can you do me a real big favor, please, guys? Can you tap the buttons? The like, the comment, subscribe, the buttons up here if you guys are on TikTok, or maybe they're there, I don't know. If you guys are watching on YouTube, can you click the buttons down below? All the buttons, ladies and gentlemen, that help this channel grow. We are double streaming. We're streaming on TikTok. We are streaming on YouTube as well. So listen, Debbie Doobs is saying, any news on the Manchester airport, guys? Look, guys, there was a video released, I saw it yesterday. I don't know when it was released. I can't believe how bad that situation was. I didn't realize that, the guy in the blue, the skinny guy, he was just cruising around, throwing his head, throwing hands. Like, there's a video by The Prodigy. I can't remember what it's called. But this video, I can't remember what the video is called, but it's by The Prodigy. And there's like a guy and he's walking around and it's on a night out and you see him drinking beers and like you see him. That's literally like this guy was. This is literally like this guy was, guys, So he's thrown the head on someone in the cafe in the airport. Then he's thrown his hands at police officers. He's just been going bonkers. Now, if this is what people are like in airports, certain people are like in airports against members of the public, against the police, and these are the ones we catch on camera, What are they like? What happens when there's no cameras watching, guys? All right. What happens, behind the scenes? And can you remember how the Muslim community was? The Muslim community was outside the. Was it Rochdale? Was it Rochdale? Let me just Google this, guys. I can't remember where it was, guys. I think it was. Yeah. So I think, yeah. So right, guys, listen, I am reading this now. So right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna focus a minute on Manchester Airport, right? And what happened at Manchester Airport last year. So I've got a video here. Let me try and play this. Right, so I've got a video, guys. I'm going to play it in a second. Can you remember, though? Let's look at the evidence that we've got now. This guy, he's headbutting people. He's knocking women police officers out. He's fighting armed police officers. And then we got that video released, the heavily edited video. And then that guy, remember, for every offense, there's a defense. We've got that guy standing there and he's defending them, and then you've got, you've got like people outside. Then we had. I'm just gonna play a video, guys. Listen to it. So the scenes are, guys, this is from the Telegraph, right? The video's there, heavily available online. Watch protesters chant Allahu Akbar after policeman stamps on man's in Manchester Airport. An officer has been suspended following Terminal 2 incident that sparked mass demonstrations in Rochdale. So let's just remember that, guys, right? This really happened. I'm not making this up. This really you're not watching a parody, guys. This really happened. So I'm just presenting the scene, guys. You've got Rochdale Police Station, and you've got the Muslim community of Rochdale surrounding Rochdale Police Station. This happened. And they're all shouting Allahu Akbar, which obviously translates to God is greatest. They're chanting, what do we want? Justice. When do we want it now? Now, the fact that they've organised this protest outside the police station so quickly. Now we see the evidence, guys. Can you see where we're going with this, guys? Can you see where can you see where we're going with this? So you've got this guy, he's running around Manchester Airport, beating people up, and because he's being arrested, the community are trying to storm the police station. Right, so there's a guy now that I didn't know if they'd show this, guys. There's a guy on a microphone. So there's a guy on a microphone now, and he's saying, "We can cause havoc, we can cause riots." I'll just repeat what he's saying. He's saying, "We can cause havoc, we can cause riots, and no one can stop us." And then he's saying, "But for today, we are going to be peaceful, boys." And then he's saying, "We're not going to smash this place up," and he points to the police station. Like, just think about that, guys, all right? The empowerment and the entitlement there, that somebody has to stand outside the Rochdale Police Station on a microphone and say, "Right, lads, yeah, we could smash this place up if we wanted, but for today, we're not going to do it. But if I say so, we'll come and smash it up." Like, I don't know. And then you understand what's actually happened leading up to that. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But tomorrow I'll tell you boys, if we don't get justice,
So he's saying, tomorrow, boys, if we don't get justice, these mother, and then it beeped out, so I can only assume he was saying something controversial. These mother, beep. So he's saying, if we don't get justice tomorrow, these mother beeps are going to get it. And then the rest of the footage was leaked then, wasn't it? The rest of the footage was leaked, and we saw the whole actual incident. We saw there wasn't actually a racist attack. It was actually a police officer doing his job. Wow, that's fantastic. I'm shocked that I've managed to find that online, guys. I'm shocked that I managed to find that online. But there you go, guys. There you go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Remember, Lucy Conley got 2 years, 7 months for being angry. So, I mean, that guy there, hang on a minute. Stop, apply your safety catchers, and look in. Right, guys, look, I've just thought of something. Lucy Conley got 2 years, 7 months for saying, deport them all or something. And then you've got this guy here saying, we're going to come back tomorrow and do bad stuff to the police station. What happened to him? What happened to him? Did anything happen to him? But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have a two-tier police system in the United Kingdom. The law is fair and equal to everyone, and it will treat you the same, no matter where you're from. Listen, guys, this is why I'm saying we need to move to Antarctica. We need to move to Antarctica and start a brave new world. We need to start a brave new world, guys, in Antarctica. Yes, it will be great to fight and to shout, hoorah, hoorah! I'm going to charge in on my little horse. Once more into the breach, my friends, or stack the wall with our English dead. I'll give you a little bit of Shakespeare there, guys. I'll give you a little bit of Shakespeare. It would be great to say that, guys, but, realistically, I think everybody just needs to move to Antarctica and just say, do you know what? Do what you want, guys. Go and do what you want. But us, guys, with our culture, we're going to take it down there. Just leave us alone. Leave us alone. Leave us alone to build stuff. Leave us alone to get resources out the ground, build stuff, and advance technology. You guys, go and do whatever you want to do in the rest of the world. There you go. Just don't come to Antarctica. Debbie Doobs is saying, why weren't those people fast-tracked through courts and given 2 year sentences? I don't know, Debbie Doobs. I would love to give you an answer for that. Linda Lewis saying intimidation. Debbie Doobs is saying, also, what about the guy who did the finger? Yeah, Ricky Jones. Ricky Jones's trial's not started yet. I think Ricky Jones's trial starts in August. April Lee, so why didn't he get time? Listen, guys, all valid questions. These are all valid questions. Unfortunately, I do not have the answer for it, guys, okay? Unfortunately, I do not have the answer for him. April Lee is saying, I'm looking to move anywhere at the moment. Paul Poops is saying, I don't want to be cuckooed out of my nest. Paul Poops, I think we're all. Listen, when the Europeans moved to, when the Europeans went to America to find the new frontier, the brave new world. Honestly, guys, I think the new world is coming, and I think it's Antarctica. I really do, guys. The exploration embargo gets lifted in 2040. I think it's 2042. I think it's 2042. Sounds like a long time away, guys. It is really not a long time away. Look, guys, I will be the first to say, ladies and gentlemen, I want to move to Antarctica. I want to go down there and I want to build a brave new world in Antarctica. UK Veterans is saying everyone should write a letter to the Home Office with the evidence and ask why. I think we're talking there about. What we've just seen there, guys. You know what we've just seen, where I can only describe it as the Muslim community went outside Rochdale Police Station and said they were gonna destroy Rochdale Police Station and no one can stop us. I think of the arrogance there, guys, the arrogance and the narcissism. But realistically, guys, who would have stopped them? People, the police would have definitely ran off. Linda Lewis saying, I've lived in my house since 1961. I don't want to move anywhere else. Linda Lou, I agree with you. But wouldn't you like to move you and your family somewhere else where everybody is where your culture, where you can open the doors and let your kids play out at night, where you can be free to walk the streets and you don't have to worry about gangs, cruising around in their Audis with blacked out windows. Timsky is saying, I swapped to here now. I don't know. Oh, right. Okay. So Timsky's jumping back and forwards to YouTube and from YouTube. I will come over to YouTube, guys. Okay, hang on. So Matt over on YouTube is saying, in fact, Tug's Life, he's just saying, I've just landed everyone on YouTube. Okay, so Tug's Life just saying he's just landed. Matt is saying the English population is dropping. We need bigger families and a lot more children to keep our population up. Is there a single woman out there that wants a bigger family? I'm a single full-time dad. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Western culture's in decline. Now, the problem is native English people can't have more kids because we can't afford more kids because we're getting taxed. We can't have more kids because we're getting taxed too much. And people from other countries are coming here, and because they get a little bit of money for their kids, they're having more kids because you see where I'm going with this, guys? You see where I'm going with this? We can't have, people struggle to have more kids because they can't afford them. And other people are coming here and having more kids. You see where we're going with that, guys? You see let's get to Antarctica. Let's get to Antarctica and build a brave new world. It's a dog's life. He's saying the summer of carnage will soon finish once the winter woolies start. Yes, it will start, but then that will move into the winter of doom. Timsky is saying you don't see it here. It's a Catholic staunch country. Guys, there is nowhere safe now. There is nowhere safe in the world. There's nowhere safe for Western culture. It's in decline. It is in decline. So we either move to Antarctica and start a brave new world, or we swizzle and complain, and complain about it for the rest of the world, until it's gone. Monocrop is saying it's going to start kicking off soon. Everywhere I live is on anti-government protest, being August on the 19th. And Tim is saying get an alligator on Wath Lake in the middle. You don't mess with, hang on. Timsky saying you don't mess with the police here. I like having neighbours, all GRA police, and they have lots of stuff that the stuff that things come out at the end. And then Maritime Slave is saying all the populations are dropping off a cliff. Not just people started a few years after Fukushima. Marine life is devastated. And then Sam Hodgins is just saying Labour out. Who do we think, do we think Labour's going out really? Or do we think they're going to be in until the next election? I would say they're going to be in until the next election, guys. And then Maritime Slave is saying oceans heating up faster than land mass, which flies in the face of global warming. And then Clive Lewis is saying Sweden are paying foreigners $36,000 to, I think it's $34,000 to leave Sweden. Now, this is an old article, guys. It's been recycled recently. This is from, I think it's from February or Yeah, I think it's from February when this article first broke. But like, you know, if I go to Sweden, are they going to pay me $36,000 to leave or something? Lisu is saying it's a bit cold in Antarctica. He's saying a bit cold in Antarctica. Yes, it's a bit cold in Antarctica. But you know what we can do? We can build warm places. We can build huge domes with, you know, as terrariums. You know, imagine Centre Park on steroids, but funded and built for and maintained by ourselves. We can build a utopia down there, guys. You know, we can build a utopia down there. Thank you, Debbie Dubes, for your subscription. Thank you so much. 5 months subscribing. Thank you so much. Right, guys, listen. I'm going to jump off screen. I'm going to caffeinate myself, and then I will be back on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to jump off screen. I'm going to caffeinate myself, and then I will be coming back on. Can you wait there for me a minute? And can you click the buttons up there and down below, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on TikTok, or do you know what, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching like in a couple of days or whatever. But guys, please do the buttons, the like, comment, subscribe, follow, bell notification, whatever the buttons are, whatever platform you're watching on, guys. Can you hit those buttons now to help this channel grow? I'm just going to jump off screen to caffeinate myself, because when I caffeinate myself on screen, I get a notification and it gets me in trouble. Oh, nice bit of caffeination. Right, I've just had a message through, guys. Give me a second to read this because it may be relevant. Wow. I've just had 25 on the group chat. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Right, I'm not going to open that because they'll see I'm not going to open the group chat, because once I open the group chat and I see the messages, they're going to know I've seen them, and then I may have to do something. I'll just tell them I've been at the gym or something, pumping iron. I've been pumping iron, making my guns really big. Right, I'm just going to jump over to YouTube, guys, okay? Positive programming for mind, but right, there's someone commenting on YouTube, guys, called positive programming for mind, body, and spirit. What do you like? What is your channel? Is your channel like? Let me know what your channel is. I'd love to know more about your channel. Have you noticed mandating? Yes, I have. So what she's saying here is, have you noticed mandating end of life plans, knowing they're encouraging mental health issues with division, fear, lack of, So it does seem like that, doesn't it, guys? It does seem like they're passing these laws through at the moment, whereby if you get, like, imagine if you're in like a care home or something, you know, and they're mandating like how do I put this without getting the live banned? You know how in the United Kingdom they're talking about procedures or policies whereby you can transcend yourself into a beam of light? The Overton window, once that precipice is opened, guys, all right, and that Overton window will be expanded. Now, I personally feel like there's not a chance that's ever going to happen to me. Like, I will literally be fighting for I will be fighting for every breath, guys, all right? I don't want to leave this planet anytime, like 1 second before I have to. But what I feel is going to happen, people are going to get in medical we'll see this, guys, in our lifetime. We will see this in our lifetime. In fact, we've already seen this in some cases, whereby you'll get something will happen, and something will be injured, and that person, a committee will decide that person is going to get turned off, guys. That person is going to get turned off. That person is going to transcend to a beam of light, and that will be sent to a committee. It will. There'll be a committee saying, yeah, tick in those boxes, turn that person off. Like, in my opinion, there's a word for that. It begins with M, and backwards it spells red rum. Let me close that one. Matt is saying your mates will be watching now. He's talking about the group chat there, guys. I've just had like there's 25 messages on the group chat, so I do have to go and do some work in a moment, but not till we finish the live. Sandra Green is saying can't comment if I don't. Oh, right, okay. Right, Sandra Green, you comment on YouTube, Sandra Green, comment on YouTube, Sandra Green. Timsky said, no way I'm getting back. Oh yeah, so Timsky's talking about there's migrants where he lives in Spain, and they're saying no way are they getting back on boats. No way are they getting back on boats. They need a flight out of there. You know, so you do see there's a big problem at the moment in the United Kingdom. Look, ladies and gentlemen, oh, hang on. Paul Poops, I'm just going to pin that and say I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that means. So Paul Poops, I'm just going to read it, guys. I don't know what it means. Maybe the interstellar object hurtling towards us is going to be our savior. I know there's a lot of interstellar objects hurtling towards us, and you know, a lot of them, they don't get you know, we don't see these interstellar objects until they're like an hour away or something, or like less than 24 hours. And like, what chance do we have? Like, if one of these things is heading actually towards Earth to hit Earth, you know, what chance do we have to stop it? Right, Four Paws is saying, York are saying that veterans can't march in uniform. Do you know what? I actually think that's fair. I actually think that's fair, guys. You know, I mean, but it depends what we mean by uniform. Are we talking like military fatigues uniform? Or are we talking about like berets and blazers? Look, guys, I'm a veteran. You know, I'm a veteran. I don't do the beret and the blazer thing. You know, I just don't do it. It doesn't mean I'm any less of a veteran, and I'm any less in support of all those matters that, you know, affect people. You know, so if we're saying, and I don't know what we're saying here, but if we're saying that we can't, let veterans are not allowed to march in berets and blazers, that's a bad thing. But if we're saying that you're not allowed to march in uniform, I do think that's fair. I do think that's fair. Snowdrops is saying 6 gang members released early and 2 no longer on license. Well, there you go, guys. Listen, so they say crime doesn't pay, but apparently, you know, if you're in the United Kingdom, it kind of does. It was an Armed Forces Day as they didn't want to offend others. Right. Okay. So have you noticed, like the RAF guys, like the Royal Air Force, it's not what it used to be. Let's just say that. Back in the darkest days of the Second World War, when the Germans were like knocking on the door, the Luftwaffe tried to the Germans through something called Operation Sea Lion. The Germans, they were going to have a crack. Like, obviously, we went to Calais. The Germans were going to come from Calais to Dover. It was called something called Operation Sea Lion. Now, Operation Sea Lion, it was the amphibious side of it was ready. The Germans knew that they had to destroy the Air Force, because trying to make that channel crossing while the RAF was still in force, all the ships would have just been sank. So the RAF you've heard of the Battle of Britain. I don't think people understand how close and how frantic the RAF were defending our country. The Germans had all the military might, they had all the production capacity, they had all the resources, and we were just here in this little island with nothing, with just what we've got on the island. And it got to a stage where this particular day, Winston Churchill went down to fighter command, at the RAF, and he was there in the ops room. I mean, if you've ever worked in an operations room, guys, when there's military operations happening, the radio's coming up and you're hearing people talking frantically on the radio. You can hear gunfire in the background. You can hear their voices. You can hear them running, and you're trying to coordinate things and trying to like second guess what they're going to do and try and put assets in place. You can imagine the stress. You can imagine the stress level. And as the story goes, obviously I wasn't there, but as the story goes, Winston Churchill, he asked the officer commanding, whoever it was, he said, how many aircraft do we have in reserve? And the officer commanding, he looked and he said, we don't have any aircraft in reserve. Everything was in the air. Like, can you imagine how intense those air battles were? Everything was in the air. And to such an extent that the Germans, I mean, a few tactics that the Germans used that were detrimental. First of all, they didn't let their fighter escorts leave their bombers, which was kind of a bad idea. But the Spitfires could do more or less a vertical climb, which gave them the ability to fly low. And then when they saw the bombers come in, they would just go straight up. And the Spitfires and Hurricanes, they had to work in two. Sorry, guys, I'm waffling. But the RAF, it is not what it used to be. To the stage now where the RAF are not even allowed to fly the British colours, guys. They're not even allowed to fly red, white and blue smoke. They have to do white smoke. They have to do white smoke because, I mean, listen, guys, I don't know about you, but white smoke to me seems like surrender smoke. And whoever gave that decision for the RAF, the Red Devils, the Red Devils as my lot, the parachute regiment, the parachute display team, the Red Arrows. Whoever gave that command for the Red Arrows to fly white smoke, it's literally just like surrender smoke, guys, you know. And I can't remember why we was talking about the RAF. I can't remember where that came from, guys, but I just had to, I just had to throw that out there. Anyway, let me jump up and get these comments, guys. Let me jump up and get these comments. Timsky is saying we're all doomed. Oh, we're all doomed. Yeah. Paul Poop, yeah, I'm sorry, I was talking about armed forces, wasn't I? And, veterans. Yeah, sorry. I'm just going to jump down and get these comments. Right. Sharon Owen is saying, I watched the whole Oasis concert last night on TikTok for free. Timsky's saying, I love doing 100 rounds on the garden cannon. What's the garden cannon? The hose pipe? Are we talking about as a hose pipe or something? A garden cannon? I don't know. Oh, the Raiden cannon, right? The Raiden cannon. Yeah, that's the 30 millimeter, the 30 mil on the what is it, on the Warrior. Lisu is saying, Oasis playing in Cardiff again tonight. Yes, Oasis are playing in Cardiff again tonight, guys. Look, I'll be big enough to say it. I was wrong, guys. You know, it was a relatively peaceful event last night in Cardiff. I still think I was so right what I said. You know, the summer of carnage, I do believe it's going to come this year. I do believe it's going to come when the weather gets warmer, guys. Kids are off school. I've always said that. I did say we would see the first skirmishes in Cardiff on the 4th of July. Let's see till this weekend's gone, guys, all right? Let's wait and see because there are so many people turning up to these Oasis concerts. I do not believe for 1 second that these Oasis concerts are going to go, without incident. I just don't believe it, guys, okay? I've been saying this for a long time. I've been identifying it. If I know this, the security forces know this, other people know this, guys, all right? I'm going to jump over to YouTube and get some comments on YouTube, guys, okay? Paul Sullivan is saying there seems to be a media blackout. Why no report about 3 gorges dams bursting? And no news about Japan evacuating a whole island due to an earthquake. And there's also a new strain of, the bad thing that came around and we all had to do hands, face and space. There's a new strain apparently in the United Kingdom. But let me just get this, guys, from Maritime Slave. There's been people here for over 20 years stealing houses and jobs that are rightfully ours. you know, with this houses thing, I remember we was on the live stream yesterday and I just started laughing. And I said, guys, look, our own government are outbidding us on property using our taxes. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that's not happening, guys. Our own government in the United Kingdom is outbidding us on properties with our own taxes. That is happening, guys. That is happening. Just consider that for 1 minute, guys, all right? Our government is taxing us to the hilt. Imagine, right? Imagine if you're a family. If you there are a family. And I know this happens, guys. Imagine you're a young family, all right? Early 20s or whatever, you're a young family, and you know, you want to live the little dream, you know, you want to live the little dream on the new housing estate, and you know, so you're destroying yourselves to pay rent for a house you don't need to impress people you don't like. All right, imagine you're in that scenario right now, guys. Because I know a lot of you are. I don't lie saying you're not, right? So now, imagine you're paying like, I don't know, imagine you're paying 500, whatever, I don't know, you're paying £1,000 a week or whatever for your house. I don't know I don't know. Just pretend you're paying £1,000 a week, a month, sorry, for your house. The government is coming in and offering your landlord £1,200 a month. And they're going to put other people in there. So what's your landlord going to do? So you're there, you're working to pay taxes to the government then taking your taxes and kicking you out of your own house with your own taxes. You are being outsourced by your own government with your own tax money, guys. Tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong, guys. Tell me if that's not happening. Tell me if that's not happening in the United Kingdom, guys. And then we've got Keir Starmer coming on with his little speech saying, I'll play his speech, you know. In fact, guys, let me play Keir Starmer's speech now. Where is it? I might have deleted it. Hang on. Right, I'm going to play Keir Starmer's speech, guys. So Keir Starmer dropped an awe-inspiring speech last night, guys, okay? I'm going to play Keir Starmer's speech now, guys, all right? Bear that in mind that the government are outsourcing you now and making things more expensive for you, and they're doing that with your tax money. All right, we're paying for our own demise now. So listen to Keir Starmer's speech, guys, while I caffeinate myself, and I'll be back in a second.
Across Britain, people get up every morning to go to work, to get their kids to school. They pay their bills, try to save a bit. They graft. The factory workers, small business owners, teachers, carers.
I got myself.
Whether that's inscribed in the NHS, and then which is very, very ill.
I can't help myself, guys. I can't help myself. I can't help myself, guys. Sorry, let me just replay that bit.
Trying to save a bit. People get up every morning to go to work, to get their kids to school. They pay their bills, try to save a bit. They graft.
And if you didn't graft and pay us the taxes, we wouldn't be able to afford to outsource your housing to people who are not from this country. Without your tax money, we would be useless. That's literally what we're getting here, guys. Sorry, let me caffeinate myself. I couldn't help myself, guys. I'm sorry.
The factory workers, small business owners, teachers, carers, those who serve our country, whether that's in scrubs or the uniform of their regiment, the ordinary people, men and women who make this country what it is. People like you and your family. And that's what I think of every time I face a decision. I know, like all of us, you are.
And every time he makes a decision, that's what he thinks about. He's thinking about about you guys? Every time Keir makes the decision, that's what he's making, guys. Every time he makes a decision, that's what he's thinking about.
Proud of our country. We all love our country. I also know that at times he doesn't feel like Britain is caring for those people, the people who are getting on with it. And that's what drives me forward, at home or representing our interests at home, by putting you first, making Britain fair for you again, building more affordable houses, fixing the NHS, securing our borders, giving your kids more opportunities, cleaning up our streets, putting more money in your pocket, but most of all, giving people a sense that we're moving forward, so that the pride we all feel for our country grows into a confidence, a determination, a certainty that our very best days lie ahead.
So that was Keir Starmer's speech, guys, that he dropped like last night, I think, 16 hours ago on his X account. That to me sounds like mind control. It sounds like manipulation. It sounds like it sounds like some sort of MK Ultra stuff, guys. It really does. It really does sound like some MK Ultra stuff. Timsky is saying, my son has 4 children. He and his wife work, but it's so hard for them. Do you know it's not hard for Timsky? Do you know it's not hard for people who come to this country and just bang out 4 kids? It's not hard to them because they get given everything for free. Allegedly, I will have to say that, guys. I don't know if that's the truth. And on TikTok, I need to stay within the community guidelines. But yeah, Timsky, if it wasn't for your son and his wife, paying their taxes, the government would really be struggling. So well done to your son and his wife for, paying all their taxes. Paul Poops is saying he doesn't think of me because I don't do any of that, what he's talking about. I sat Rolex to him. Say. Timsky is saying, yes, it's sad. Yeah, it is sad, guys. It is sad that so many people in this country now are just having to, struggling to get by, literally struggling to get by, guys, absolutely struggling to get by. And again, whether this is right or wrong, guys, I give you the example just then, guys. All right, young family moving into a rented property, because they think that's the right thing to do. They're trying to make ends meet, and and the government are outsourcing them on their own on their own houses, guys. Okay, unbelievable. Cassie is saying Wakefield Council confirmed that the Cedar Court Hotel is running a takeaway. Like, are they going to do, like, what? Like, can they shut that down? Like, realistically, guys, like, can they shut that down? Like, I don't know here, guys. Like, can they shut that down legally? Can they shut that down legally, guys? Because let's think about it, right? That kitchen in that hotel... will be up to standards. It will be up to like whatever health and safety, when they say you've got to have like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know, guys. I'm going to assume health and safety have to say you have to have a certain oven and certain fire safety precautions and certain worktops made of stainless steel or something. I don't know what the legislation is, but the kitchen in the hotel will be up to that standard, guys. It will be up to that standard, all right? Now, that hotel will be a private entity. It will be a private entity. So it's a private company. So can people, is there any legislation in place to stop people cooking from there? I don't know if there is, guys. I don't know if there is any legislation that can stop people cooking in a kitchen. And if that hotel, if the kitchen has been, if the company's been set up and registered on Companies House by somebody who's got the right to do that, I don't know if you can close it down, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the legislation is here, guys. I genuinely don't. It's just one of those things, isn't it? That's just funny. Oh, right. And Cassie is saying they're allowing it. Right. Let me get this. This is wild. This is wild. This is bonkers. Right, Cassie, can you tell me where there's a link to that, Cassie? Cassie, can you tell me where so Cassie is talking here, guys, about the big boy burgers. It's absolutely absurd, right? It's absurd. So, it's absurd here. I must have seen that. Right, Cassie, can you send me a link or something to where Wakefield Council are allowing it, or it's allowed to stay, and I can talk about it. But what I can say at this point right now, guys, is if it's happened in one place, it's going to happen in all the places. So if Wakefield Council, guys, like just think about this for a second, right? If Wakefield Council bridge that Rubicon and they say, yes, we're going to allow the hotel's kitchen to be opened up as a fast food restaurant. If we're saying that's the thing, all right, what's stopping every other hotel every other hotel in the UK? What's stopping them from opening up? But do you know what this is going to affect, guys? Do you know what this is going to affect? This will affect like people who've been in this country 20, 30 years, who have like Indian restaurants, fast food restaurants, people who legitimately have their own restaurants. That's going to affect those people, guys. So now you see even more divisional lines, don't you? I mean, guys, look, I say Antarctica. Viva la Antarctica, guys. Viva la Antarctica. That's what I'm saying. Viva la Antarctica. Debbie Doobs is saying, where is the money from these takeaways going? I'd say a lot of money is being, Timsky's got it. A lot of the money is being sent back to the other countries, guys. A lot of this money is being sent back to other countries. Now, Donald Trump signed a law or something in the United States banning foreign foreign people who don't have the right to be in America, basically. He's banning them from sending money out of the country. Look, guys, it's one of the things I've been talking about on this channel for a while. You can imagine, let's just imagine, right, that for example, £700 a week is that I don't think everybody who works for Deliveroo, look, guys, I will be clear, I'm quite fair. I don't think everybody who works for Deliveroo gets £700 a week, guys. I don't think that. But let's go with that number just because it's the number that's been branded about. Let's just say that these migrants in the United Kingdom, they're given free food, free accommodation, free clothes, obviously they're fleeing the war in France, so we need to look after them. So they don't need to spend any money, right? So let's just say that they're making £700 a week. They will be sending a lot of that money back to their families in whatever country they come from. So that money, and I know it doesn't sound like much, but over time, at scale, it's a lot, guys, all right? It's a lot. So that is money leaving our economy. So that's money that could be spent at Dave and Lynn's shop. It could be spent at Jenny's Cakes. It could be spent on Sarah's Flowers. It could be spent on local people, and then those people have got money to feed to do things with their kids, but that money is gone. It ain't coming back. So that's just, another, as well as international investment, that's just people taking money out of our country and sending it to other countries. Again, guys, listen, we do this with foreign aid. We do this all the time. It's unbelievable. Oh, Cassie sent a link to my inbox. Right. I don't think I can get on my inbox, guys, while I'm live. I don't think I can get on my inbox, guys, while I'm live. Let me try. Oh, I might be able to. Hang on. Right, hang on, guys. Right, this is bonkers. This is bonkers. Give me a second to get this up. Thank you, Cassie. I've got that now. Let me just put this link in. I won't be able to click it because it's on my phone, so I'm trying to get this up on my screen, guys. This is bonkers, guys. While I'm doing this, guys, can you tap the screen, share the live, click the buttons to help this channel grow? Because what we've got, guys, is some breaking news from Wakefield Council, and it's going to affect each and every one of us. You know all these people, you know all the people who've been in this country for a long time that came here from other countries? They've shot themselves in the foot as well. They're going to start going like, oh, we don't want mass migration into this country. It's hurting me in the pockets now. I'm going to be like, yeah, we told you this had happened, guys. And then they're going to be protesting. And there's going to be so many divisional lines cutting our communities into hundreds of pieces. Sorry, let me jump on this, guys, and I'll come back. Let me jump on this. Right, hang on. Let me get this. Right, I'm going to have to put this in. Let me do this code word, guys. Let me do this. 3. 9. Yeah, got it. Thank you so much, Cassie. Thank you so much for that, Cassie. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to read you this now from Yorkshire Live. You can find this on examinerlive.co.uk. I'm reading this off the mainstream, guys, all right? I'm reading this off the mainstream. This is not me speculating. This is not me speculating. Council speaks out after Yorkshire asylum seeker hotel used to run a takeaway. Police were called to the hotel after a group entered the hotel and recorded footage. Wakefield Council has broken the silence after footage of a kitchen inside Cedar Court Hotel circulated online, with the police called to the premises. Cedar Court Hotel in Wakefield has been used to hold asylum seekers for a number of years now, but has recently been criticised after a takeaway was found to be operating out of its kitchen. Video footage of the takeaway circulated online as police were called to the premises after the kitchen was entered and filmed. Now, Wakefield Council have revealed the hotel is operating a properly registered food business known as Absurd Snacks. This is an online food-only business which operates out of the Cedar Court kitchen, and public access is not allowed. We're at the end. It's been so good. I wish you knew the demise is here. I've been Raven and you've been good. Thank you for the information. The time is up. We have no opposition. We have nothing to oppose this with anymore. We might as well just lay on the floor. We're paying for our own demise. Can you see it in my eyes? Our own demise with our tax money. Absolutely unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for that, Cassie. Thank you so much for that, Cassie. So yeah, guys, listen, I'm going to shout that again, guys. I'm going to shout that again. Wakefield Council has revealed. So guys, look, let me give context to this, all right? There's a food Yeah, it's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said. Look, guys, you guys are here for real-time analysis, and I always give you my real-time analysis. So we've been talking about the burgers, people who have been, people who have been, people who have been these migrant hotels now, guys. We're funding the migrant hotels, so they've got no overheads. All their health and safety has been ticks in boxes because we're paying for it, we're paying for these things. And now they're running fast food restaurants from the hotels. What I said earlier on was, Cassie said, I can't remember what Cassie said, something about it. And I said, look, you know what, guys? I said, actually, I'm not sure where the Overton window is on closing one of these things. I mean, all the kitchens will be up to spec because we're paying for it. They've got no overheads. We're paying for it. It's just pure profit. But now, anyway, guys, Wakefield Council has spoken out about this, guys. So Wakefield Council has revealed the hotel is operating a properly registered food business known as Absurd Stacks. This is an online food-only business which operates out of the Cedar Court kitchen, and public access is not allowed. So there you have it, guys. There you have it. They're now competing. So we're not just competing against our own government now for property that they're using our taxes. Our own hospitality companies. So like if you've got a company, if you've got like a small restaurant around Wakefield, you're now competing against a state-sponsored competition. And they say socialism's dead, guys. They say socialism's dead. But anyway, there you go, guys. There you go. If you want a cheap burger and you want to give your money to someone, listen, people will go for that. People will be so poor, they'll be like, well, we could go to the local store. We could get an Absurd Stacks. It's miles cheap because they've got no overheads. Fantastic, guys. Fantastic. Where we go with this, guys? This will inevitably open up that precedence now for why wouldn't now this has happened, guys, all right? Why wouldn't every hotel, every one of them now that's got a kitchen, why wouldn't they open up as a fast food restaurant? Why wouldn't they do that? We've already seen that it's legal to do. The kitchens are up to standard. Why wouldn't they do that, guys? Why wouldn't they do that? They've already got staff that we're already paying their staff, so they're already getting paid from us. So they can work at a more competitive rate because we're already paying them, guys. We are paying for our own demise, guys. Listen, get me that patch in Antarctica. Get me that patch in Antarctica, guys. I want the biggest patch in Antarctica. I want to go down there first. Could I be Raven? Could I be Raven, the first king of Antarctica? I think I could. Here we go, guys. Look, this kitchen has been inspected by the Environment Health in September 2004 and was awarded a 5-star for hygiene. So well done to those guys who, well done to your tax money that got them up to that standard. Jill Edmondson, head of regulatory services at Wakefield Council, said the hotel has registered a food business with a local authority. It is an online-only food business operated out of the hotel kitchen. There's no public access to collect any food orders. The site was last inspected in September and was awarded 5 stars. The next inspection will be 2026. There you go, guys. There you go. Subsidized by our, taxes. Subsidized by our taxes. So there you have it, guys. Why wouldn't you open that up, guys? Why wouldn't you open that up? Absolutely insane. Thank you so much for putting me onto that, Cassie, and sending me the. Thank you so much for putting me onto that, Cassie, and sending me the link. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Timsky is saying he's in the middle of his thigh. Cassie is saying if we worked on the side like that, we will be sent to prison. I don't know if you'd be sent to prison, Cassie, but definitely, you would be like. Here's the thing as well, guys. Right? If they're employing migrant workers, and I'm not saying they are, but if they are employing migrant workers, are those migrants paying taxes? I don't know. I don't know how you would pay tax without a national insurance. Absolutely insane, guys. You can't, imagine if you live around that location, guys. Imagine if you live in that location, you would, imagine if you lived in that, imagine if you lived in that location and you had a restaurant or something. You've got a restaurant, you've got like a pub with an eatery, or you've got a fast food restaurant. You're now having to compete with a government-sponsored entity that doesn't have taxes to pay, doesn't have overheads because they're already being paid by the taxpayer, and their potential workforce is already being paid by the taxpayer. So again, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, guys, the government are outsourcing us with our own money. With regards to property, the government are now outsourcing our hospitality with our own taxes. And why? Guys, tell me why there would be any incentive now for every hotel in the United Kingdom that has a kitchen. Why would there be any incentive for all of those hotels to not open up fast food restaurants from their kitchens? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? Of course you're going to do that. Fantastic. Listen, that's capitalism for you guys. That's state-sponsored. It's not capitalism at all, guys. That's socialism. That is literally the definition of communism. Sharon Owen is saying, Sean, I'm going to find you the link for the call centers. Yeah, I did see a video somebody sent me. I think it may have been you, April Lee. April Lee. April Lee is saying, Sean, I'm going to find you a link for the call centers. Yeah, somebody sent me a video of now call centers being ran from these hotels. So you can imagine it now, can't you, guys? You've come to the United Kingdom. You get your free money every week. You get your free food every week. You get your free accommodation every week. Where you're living is a fast food restaurant. It's also a call center. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you put everyone else out of business, guys? Listen. People, it is what it is, guys. Look, let's get ourselves to Antarctica, guys. Let's get ourselves to Antarctica. Let's jump to Antarctica. Right, April. Yeah, you did send it already. Yeah, I've seen the video, guys. I've seen the video. The reason I need to be careful about what I talk about about what I talk about on TikTok is because the algorithm will cut my live if I say something that's not didactically correct. So I do have to go from things that are on mainstream media articles. And that's why on my videos that I do on TikTok, what you find is a lot of them now I have to have the clip, the news article behind me. Excuse me. But anyway, absolutely crackers, guys. Absolutely crackers. Right, let me jump over to YouTube, guys. Oh, wow, there's so many comments on YouTube. YouTube just gone bonkers. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'm going to close down TikTok, guys, all right? I'm going to jump over to YouTube, yeah. Thank you, guys. I've just noticed there's quite a few people sending gifts today. Thank you to all you guys that have sent gifts. Four Paws, Andrea, Lisu, Missy D, Debbie Wood, Snowdrops Lisu, Happy Go Lucky, Angela Dawson, Paul Poobs Lisu, Four Paws again, Paul Poobs. It's Nick, Jodie Lee, Katie and Alexia. Alexia. Thank you for your gifts, guys. And RT Rond, I think I'm saying that right, RT Rond. But anyway, guys, listen, thank you for the information. Cassie, thank you for that information so much, guys. Look, you can see what's happening, can't you? With this, you can see what's happening. Look, the crux of this live stream was, I did get this wrong about the 4th of July in Cardiff. Let's see what happens tonight in Cardiff, guys, all right? I'm still convinced you're going to see something happen at this Oasis concert. Now, whether it happens tonight, whether it happens on the 11th, whether something happens on the 7th, we're getting closer and closer to the summer of carnage, guys, right? What I've always said it's going to reach the crescendo of the summer of carnage when the kids are off school. Excuse me. When the kids are off school, 6 weeks holidays, the weather's hot. People, people have got that kind of, you reach that critical mass. But anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to jump over now to YouTube. We're going to be having a little bit more of a conversation over on YouTube. I can talk a bit more freely there, guys, and the TikTok algorithm doesn't swizzle me as much. But anyway, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, click all the buttons that help this channel grow, and I will see you maybe later tonight, or maybe tomorrow, guys. I'm not sure. But anyway, guys, I will speak to you as soon as I can. Oh, we are off the YouTube. No, we're not off the YouTubes. We are off the TikToks. We are off the TikToks. Right, let me jump on here, send a few messages. I'm not going to open that group chat yet, guys. I'm not going to open that group chat. Oh, 47 messages are on there now. 47 messages on that group chat. I am definitely not opening that bad boy. Right, let me jump on these comments. Tug's Life is saying, in fact, Timsky is just saying static line. I don't know what that means. Parachute jumping static line or something. I don't know. Or like abseiling. I don't know. Tug's Life is saying, wow, just had Labour knocking on my door for a chat. The cheek of them, they must be doing damage assessment. Yeah, I think they are doing damage assessment, not damage limitation. I think it's an assessment at the moment. Shoulder of lamb in the oven, says maritime slave. Right, Timsky is saying, did you hear about the military contractor in the Middle East? Yeah. So there's been, I can talk about this now, guys, on YouTube. So there's been allegedly, right, okay, so this is, first of all, there's no evidence to back this up. So let me pin that, actually. So Timsky is saying, did you hear about the military contractor in the Middle East? So the BBC have been reporting that a contractor has opened fire on civilians in Gaza. Now, first of all, guys, all right, I'm not saying this is right. I'm not saying it's wrong. What I'm saying is, like I said with the US airstrikes, there's no evidence to back it up, so we don't actually know what's happening. Now, what I do think we should focus on here is the BBC. The BBC are allowed to print that, are allowed to broadcast that stuff without showing any evidence. Like if I did that and just said that would be fake news. I'd get a violation. I'd get my channel taken down. So it does just show you that these bigger news companies can literally say what they want. What I will say on that, from my time working in the Middle East, I can remember going down and so in Syria, it's very difficult because of local government you're not allowed to take local people on as staff. So what you have to do is you have to do something called cash for work. You're not employing them, but you give them cash and they do work for you. It's just mad. It's just a way that you can get money back in that economy. So we had this project going. I think we had like 150 people, like Syrians, doing cash for work on this program we were on. And it ranged from everything. We had, I think we had people renovating a football pitch. We had people like sweeping the streets and getting like rid of rubble. We had street painters, so they were going and painting the sidewalk, yellow, white, yellow, white, yellow, white. What else did we have? We had a lot of people working, doing stuff, and we were paying them like a day rate. For every day they worked, we would pay them some cash. Anyway, project manager, I was with the project manager. We're walking around and we're like looking how well the project's going and taking pictures to send back to the donors. And she walked over to this woman and she said, this is a true story, guys. We went over to this woman and she said, oh, can you, the project manager, she didn't speak, she was Danish, she didn't speak Arabic. And she went over and she said, can you speak to this, can you ask this woman, where she's come from and why she's come up here and, you know, what she's doing here. Anyway, she spoke to her and they were talking in Arabic, and I speak a little bit of, I speak Arabic, guys, but my Arabic's like Baghdadavic and it's a totally different dialect. So I wasn't understanding every word that was said. I was just getting the gist of it. I didn't let people know I spoke. I was just listening. And she told her, and the woman, she said, yeah, I think they came from, this woman, she came from Raqqa, and we was in Mem Beach. And she said, I've come up from Raqqa, from Mem Beach, because I knew there was jobs here and I knew, you know, I could get some money. And she said, all right, okay. And then she said, has anything bad happened to you with, you know, the ISIS guys? And the woman said, no, I just, you know, I've literally just come up here for, you know, because of the work and I've got a family. And then the project manager, she says, have any of your sons been taken by ISIS? Has anything bad happened to you? And she said, like, you know, and she was trying to put words in this woman's mouth. And this woman's going, la, which is international Arabic for no. And obviously I'm like understanding this, and she's saying, no, that didn't happen. And then she says and then the project manager said to this woman a little bit more, not firm, but she said, if you tell me something really bad has happened to you, then I can go and tell the donors and we can get more money to help your community. So did something bad happen to you? And she said, no, la. And the interpreter said, yes, something very bad has happened to her. Then they took pictures of this woman. They wrote up this fake story about, you know, they wrote up this fake story about all this bad stuff that had happened to this woman. And I was watching this and I was thinking, this is corruption on like the highest levels. And nobody's going to go out to Syria. Like realistically, and when that, I'm not going to tell you the company, but when that report is written, and that gets sent back to those donors, and they're sat there in their nice little office with their, you know, with their lattes, you know, they probably paid £6 for, you know, in that office, and they're looking at all this good stuff. Oh, look at this woman. Our money has helped. Look how nice it. Look how we've done fantastic work. The case is just not that, guys, you know, and a lot of the time. So what I'm getting at here, guys, is Timsky is saying, did you hear about the military contractors in the Middle East allegedly opening fire? You know, I know there's a lot of reports come from the Middle East that don't actually, don't actually happen. April is saying, I was laughing because an advertising for Deliveroo before you were live. Right, let me jump down, guys. There's quite a few comments. Dave O'Rourke is saying, have you seen US has moved 150 paratroopers to the, 15,000 paratroopers to the Middle East? No, I've not seen that, but I would speculate that that's a lot of troops. I mean, where are you going to keep them? I would say that you could keep them in RAF Akateria, but not in those numbers. Not in those numbers. RAF Akateria would not be able to take that many numbers. Well, they would. They'd have to put tents outside. But yeah, do you know what? Let me do a quick search on this. Look, like I always say, guys, all right, you can look and you can take your you can take what the media are saying at face value. You can take what politicians and what world leaders are saying, what they're saying, or you can look at what they're actually doing, guys, all right? Or look at what they're actually doing. And while politicians are saying they want X, what they're actually doing is Y. Right, let me try and find this, guys, because I'm going to suspect they're in RAF Akateria, not RAF Akateria, RAF Akateria or in Oman. What are we looking for? Oh, US. Right, I'm getting some videos of it. I'm getting videos of it, but I'm getting no, I'm getting videos of it, but I'm getting no, I'm getting videos of it, but I'm getting no, when are them videos from? Yeah, I've got a few videos, but I'm not getting any news articles of it. So I don't know where that would be. I don't know where that's coming from, guys. From the 28th of June, 15,000 elite paratroopers flown to the Middle East. But I can't see any. Oh, hang on. Right, TikTok again. I can't find any news articles, so I'd be struggling to say what I could say from that. But like again, look, guys, I've said this quite a few times. The only realistic places you can put those troops, and you need to do this before like November is the latest you can leave that. And as people are saying here, guys, 15,000 troops is a fair amount. 15,000 troops. The latest you can be forward mounted is November. So getting them out on the ground now would make perfect sense, guys. It would make absolutely perfect sense that they're forward mounting those. That they are forward mounting those guys now. Right, it's a dog's life. He's saying, are big boy burgers not breaking any laws by this is what I don't know. So it's a dog's life. He's saying, are they not breaking any laws by? I don't know, but this is the thing, right? If you're using that kitchen is a totally we're paying for it, so of course it's going to be a good kitchen. That kitchen is fine. You can't complain about the kitchen, right? The kitchen's fine. It's up to standards. If they have a chef that has a work permit to the UK, how do you stop that? How do you stop that from happening? Do you see where I'm going with this, guys? Where's the legal, you can have a chef that's registered and then, a load of people who are cooking. And remember, a lot of these places are online only, so you can't go in there. So if the police come or whatever, they've got to make themselves known and they've got to get through the doors. And by that time, you would speculate that anybody who is working in the kitchen, you just tell them to sit down. And you see where I'm going with this, guys? It's very difficult, almost impossible to police. Wrong mouse. Dude Monkfish is saying Britain will go to war against a major power in a sick attempt to unite the nation and bring about a national reset. Only national chaos will emerge. Dude Monkfish, that is a fantastic statement, and I cannot find fault with it at all. Yeah, I think that will happen. We can see this with what's happening in Ukraine at the moment. The Ukrainians, guys, they're getting absolutely bombarded. As soon as the United States said they're not supplying any more Patriot missiles, literally night after night, the Ukrainians have been getting heavily bombarded, more and more and more bombardments. Excuse me. Last night I was having a few beers with the guys. It was on a group chat. We were talking and stuff. I was telling them all it's International Treason Day. And then one of the guys who's out in Ukraine, he went, guys, hang on. And he went outside and he had his phone up. We could see the Shaheeds coming over. And you could hear the machine gun fire. And he's telling me that the uptick in air assaults by the Russians has just gone absolutely bonkers. And this year, guys, I'll probably do a standalone video about it. This year in Ukraine, what I think the Russians will do now the United States have stopped supplying them with air defenses, I think the Russians are just going to go full frontal on the Ukrainian energy grid. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I think there's only 20. There might be slightly more, actually. Less than 30. There's less than 30 gas pumping stations in Ukraine. In Kiev. So if you wanted to bring Kiev to an almost standstill and turn the heating off, all you have to do, it would take 2 weeks. Every night you mass bombard these gas pumping stations, decimate these gas pumping stations so they can't be rebuilt. Then you turn off Ukraine's gas, it gets really cold in Kiev, and those people are going to freeze at night. But yeah, I do think that's happening, guys. As we move closer and closer, and the Americans move further and further out, that's pushing Britain further and further in. And I do think a good way. I think good's the wrong word to use, but as Monkfish is saying, in a sick attempt to unite the nation. Normally, a successful way to unite a nation is to unite a nation. Normally, you have a good old-fashioned war, and that normally does unite a nation. Timsky is saying that will go to war against Argentina and take the Falklands. Henfish is saying, do you know immigrants get free driving lessons and cars? How? Yeah, I know. We know that, guys. Listen, we are paying for our own demise, guys. We are literally paying for our own demise at the moment, guys, okay? And Paul O'Sullivan is saying, the reason Ukraine was given Patriots by Israel a day before Israel attacked Iran. The reason is Ukraine was given Patriots by Israel a day before Israel attacked Iran. I didn't know that. I'm not sure how. Can you let me know how that comes together? Because I'm not 100% sure about that. And then Timsky is saying, made the Jerrys watch the propaganda cinema. Timsky, I don't know what that means, but I love you. Oh, hang on. And then, right, okay, sorry. Right, I'll read the first comment first, and then it'll make sense. So Timsky said, after the World War II, the Allies did it in Germany in the late 50s. They made the Germans watch propaganda cinema. And then Maritime Slave is saying, with a national debt of £5,170 a second. How are your prices in the shops, lads? Send them all home. It can only get worse. Listen, guys. You know what I've been saying. I think Antarctica's. I think there needs to be a mass surgence of people moving to Antarctica and just saying, I've had enough. I don't want this anymore. I want to move to Antarctica. I want to build my own stuff. I want to build my own community. I want to have my own culture, my own country. And I think Raven should be the first king of Antarctica. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I am going to leave now. If you're on and you've not done so already, can you please hit those buttons down below? The like, follow, subscribe, bell notification. All those buttons that help this channel grow, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to be back on later. You guys have been fantastic. The world's gone bonkers. We are paying for our own demise, and we are being outsourced by our own government with our own tax money. Anyway, guys, on that bombshell, I'm going to close this down. You guys are fantastic.